if you were anything but a straight white man, you were honestly not even getting into the room. I'm Arlan Hamilton, and I'm the founder and managing partner of Backstage Capital.
San Francisco International Airport, 2015. While thousands of travelers rush past pulling their designer luggage, one woman is trying to sleep on the cold terminal floor. That woman is Arlan Hamilton, and she's about to change the entire venture capital game forever. She's 35 years old, broke, and technically homeless. Her bank account, pretty much zero. Her connections in Silicon Valley? None. Her college degree in business or finance? Doesn't have one. But here's what she does have: a laptop, an internet connection, and an idea that's burning so bright inside her that she refuses to give up. Most people would look at Arlan's situation and see failure. She sees it differently. While lying on that airport floor, she's not thinking about what she's lost. She's thinking about the hundreds of brilliant founders out there who look like her, who love like her, who are being ignored by an industry that claims to be about innovation but keeps funding the same types of people over and over again. Let's rewind a bit. Arlan didn't grow up dreaming about venture capital because, honestly, when you're a black queer woman from Texas without money or connections, that world doesn't even seem real. It's like a secret club that nobody tells you exists. She spent years working in the music industry as a tour production coordinator. She was good at it too, helping artists organize their tours, managing logistics, making things happen on tight budgets. But around 2013, she started reading about startups and venture capital, and something clicked. She realized that there were these people called venture capitalists who basically invested money in early-stage companies, helping them grow from small ideas into massive businesses. The more she learned, the more one thing became crystal clear. The money was going to the same type of founder again and again: young, white, male, usually from Stanford or Harvard. Meanwhile, incredibly talented women, people of color, and LGBTQ+ founders were pitching brilliant ideas and getting rejected not because their ideas were bad, but because they didn't fit the pattern. Arlan thought, someone needs to change this. Then she realized, why not me? Here's where the story gets real. Arlan had no money to invest, like genuinely no money. She was unemployed, staying wherever she could, sometimes on friends' couches, sometimes in airports. She was living on food stamps. But she had this vision for Backstage Capital, a venture capital firm that would specifically invest in underrepresented founders. She started cold emailing everyone in Silicon Valley. And I mean everyone. Successful investors, entrepreneurs, anyone who might listen. Most people ignored her. Some were polite but dismissive. Think about how hard that must have been, sending hundreds of emails while you're hungry, tired, and sleeping in an airport, getting rejection after rejection. But here's the thing about Arlan. She understood something fundamental. She knew that betting on underrepresented founders wasn't charity. It was smart business. Studies show that diverse teams perform better, that women founders generate higher returns, that investing in different perspectives leads to innovation. The venture capital world wasn't excluding these founders out of strategy. They were doing it out of habit and bias. Slowly, people started paying attention. A few investors saw what Arlan saw. They started writing small checks, $25,000 here, $50,000 there. Not huge money by Silicon Valley standards, but enough to start building something real. In 2015, Backstage Capital made its first investment. Then another, then another. Arlan was proving her thesis right with every single deal. These founders she was betting on, they were building incredible companies. They were solving real problems. They were making money. By 2018, just 3 years after sleeping in airports, Arlan had raised millions of dollars for her fund. Backstage Capital had invested in over 100 companies founded by underrepresented entrepreneurs. She wasn't just changing her own life anymore, she was changing the entire ecosystem. Let's talk numbers because they're wild. Backstage Capital has now invested in over 200 companies. 200 founders who might have been overlooked got their shot because Arlan refused to accept the way things were. She's funded companies across every industry you can imagine: tech, healthcare, consumer products, media. Some of these companies have gone on to raise millions more from other investors. Some have been acquired, some are becoming household names. But the impact goes beyond just the money. Arlan proved something that needed proving, that you don't need to come from money to make it in venture capital. You don't need an Ivy League degree, you don't need to fit the traditional mold. What you need is vision, determination, and the courage to bet on people that others won't. She's written a book called It's About Damn Time, where she breaks down her journey and shares advice for people who want to break into industries that seem closed off. She's spoken at major conferences. She's been featured in Time magazine, Forbes, Fortune. She went from invisible to unavoidable. What Arlan created goes beyond Backstage Capital. She sparked a movement. After she proved it could be done, other funds started emerging with similar missions. More investors started paying attention to diverse founders. The conversation in Silicon Valley shifted, even if there's still a long way to go. Think about the ripple effect here. Those 200-plus companies Arlan funded, they're hiring people, creating products, solving problems, building wealth in communities that have historically been locked out of these opportunities. Each one of those founders can now become an investor themselves one day, funding the next generation. And for young people watching this, especially if you're black, brown, queer, or from a background that doesn't scream privilege, Arlan's story is proof. You don't need permission to chase something big. You don't need to wait for someone to hand you an opportunity. You can create your own path, even when it seems impossible. Arlan talks about how she wants to invest in 1,000 companies led by underrepresented founders. 1,000. That's not just a number. That's 1,000 chances for someone's dream to become real. That's 1,000 opportunities for wealth creation in communities that need it. That's 1,000 reasons why one woman sleeping on an airport floor, refusing to quit, matters to all of us. From $0 and an airport floor to funding over 200 companies and managing millions in investments. That's not just an inspiring story. That's a revolution disguised as a career. Arlan Hamilton looked at an industry that said, "You don't belong here," and said, "Watch me anyway." She took every disadvantage the world threw at her and turned it into proof that the old ways of doing things were broken. And now, because of her, the game is changing. If you're inspired by stories of people who refused to accept limits and created their own legacy, hit that like button and subscribe. We cover wealthy families, influential dynasties, and people like Arlan who are building empires from nothing. See you in the next one.